Hey, it's Tracy from Downward Dog Rising. If you have super tight hip flexors or quads because you run or you're a cyclist, then this is for you. We're going to do a quick hip flexor release. You're going to need a foam roller, and if you don't have a foam roller, then you could lie with your back flat on the mat and tilt your hip bones back. I'll show you right now. We want to open up the front of our hip flexors, our psoas, and I want you to just lie flat on your mat. If you have a foam roller, take it, place it under the back of your thighs. Now for spinal alignment, find where your two hip bones are. Anterior, superior, iliac spine. Those are your two hip bones. I want you to tighten your core to your spine and peel back. Imprint your spine into the mat and release forward. When you bridge your pelvis into the air and you place your hips on top of the foam roller, you have to have your low back at maximal elongation, where it's elongated as if it's imprinted into the mat. If you do not have a foam roller, you would do an imprint like this, and you would keep the hip joint open, and you would just hug your knee to your chest, slide your heel away until you get a stretch on the front of the hip. So you would do that, trying to get your heel all the way down into the floor to open up this space here. If you don't have a foam roll, we're gonna do it with a foam roll. What I want you to do, roll your hip bones back. So you're in a posterior pelvic tilt, spine imprinted, elongated. Tighten your core to the length of your spine. Bridge your pelvis into the air without putting the weight in your neck. Shoulders are down and back, no weight in neck. The foam roll comes under the back of your hips, the back of the iliac crest. Touch your hip bone in front. The foam roll goes exactly on the opposite side of where the front of the hip bone is, goes across the back of the pelvis, lower than your lumbar spine. We don't want to have the foam roll across the lower back. We don't want to hurt our back vertebra. It's across the back of your pelvis, the back of the iliac crest. If it goes to where the bottom of your glutes are, it's too low. Halfway up, tilt hip bones back. Hips are open. Stay here for a moment. Your hip bones are rolled back. Do 5 little knee taps, toe taps, knee fold. Pull your core to your back. Inhale, exhale, tap. Chest is open. Inhale. You're going to feel the opposite hip stretch. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale, exhale. 2 more. Hips keep rolling to your navel. Last one. Okay, lift your leg up. Your hip bones roll back, tailbone long. Slowly reach under this knee. See if you can keep hips rolled back, tailbone long. Slowly inch this right leg out of your center. Just breathe into it. We want to get into the front of this hip and thigh. Inhale, exhale. Stop if it goes like that and makes your pelvis roll forward. That's not the goal. Tailbone long. Get the hip socket to open in opposite opposing directions. Hug knee in, stay here and breathe. Keep pointing your quad, your kneecap straight to the sky. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the front of your hip stretch apart. Lengthen away from center. It might burn a little bit. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep low back elongated, no arch in the spine. Imprint against that foam roll. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Really get the front of this hip and thigh to elongate out of your center. And again, no weight in neck. Inhale. Exhale. Soften into it. Inhale. Exhale. Feel that open spaciousness, front of hip and quad. Slowly bring this leg in. Back of pelvis is still on foam roll. Take this leg down. If you have to readjust, do so. So back, it's across back of pelvis, midway, iliac crest. It's not on the low back. Hip bones roll back. Feel core draw in, chest open, tap foot to floor. Feel open space here. Tighten your core to your spine. Tap foot to floor for 4. Now we're stretching this hip. 3. Keep pelvis stable. Tighten core to spine. 2 more. Scoop your core into your spine. Last one. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Hug in. Hip bones keep rolling back. You could do this on the mat. You would just tilt hip bones back. Imprint spine against mat. Remember, no weight in neck. Slowly, you're going to start to inch this leg away from you. Stretch this leg without lifting your pelvis. It's going to feel the front of the hip socket opening apart. Stay here. Kneecap is to sky. Hug in. Avoid going like that. Avoid arching. Keep tailbone long. Breathe. Scoop abdominal wall to spine. Feel how this is opening. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Middle of knee over second toe. Feel how that hip is opening. That thigh is lengthening out of your center. You might feel pulling in between your ribs a little bit. In through here, it's pulling apart. Spine is long. No pain at all in your back. You should not feel this in your back. If you do, come down, hug knees to chest. 2 more deep inhales. Exhale, 1 more. Inhale, exhale. Slowly bend other knee in. Tighten your core to your spine. Slowly, without twisting your pelvis, your tailbone's heavy. Slowly rock across the back of those muscles, going across the back of the pelvis. So your tailbone's down. So you're just doing a tiny little knee sway side to side. Goes across the back of the hip. Breathe in, breathe out. 4. Could get really tender in there. 3. Hitting some pressure points. 2. Last one. Tighten core to spine. Now pull in. Now just take your hands and slowly roll your pelvis, and your back is going to be flat against the mat. And then if you were on the mat, you didn't have a foam roll, just by holding your leg in like this, tilting your pelvis back on each side, that's going to open the front of the hip more than if you don't do it at all. Okay. Either your feet are going to go flat on the mat like this. Careful not to let your knees fall out. Hips, shoulders, hips, middle of knee joints, ankles, everything is aligned. Either do this with your feet flat on your mat, or if you have a foam roll, grab it horizontal, like this, and you're going to bring your feet on it. The arch of your foot is that soft tissue in the center of your foot. Place the arches of your feet on the foam roll. And again, we never bear weight and stick all of our body weight in our neck vertebra. They're not designed for that. So make sure it's across middle back between the two shoulder blades. The neck doesn't bear all the weight. So it goes across mid-back. You're going to feel like chest opens. You're going to press your arms down by your sides. Push into your tricep. Chest open. Press into your palms. You scoop in, meaning your abdominals elongate. Reach into the anterior of the spine. Anterior of the spine faces this way. Posterior of the spine faces the back of the body. So you scoop in, you zip up, turn your glutes on. As your chest stays open, your tailbone lengthens, and I want you to lift and just think of your glutes engaged and those hip bones pressing up, and now feel the stretch through the front of those hips and thighs. Press those hip bones to the sky. Your glutes are working hard, and then bring your hips to the mat. Consciously do this. Scoop in, tailbone long, glutes engage, hips to sky. Straight to mat. Feel those glutes, tighten your core, hips to sky. Feel that elongation. Energy line from shoulders, past hips, past thighs, and knees. Straight back to mat. In kinesiology class in school, we have vector points. You could take a magic marker. You would take the magic marker and just make like a straight shot to see where the distribution of weight is going. So we want to make sure you're not arching your back. We want to make sure you're not thrusting your hips and pelvis way out of alignment, over the shoulders, like way up in the air. No need for that. Keep the length. Go straight back to mat. 6 more. Really feel your gluteals engage. Press hips to sky. Chest is open. Straight back to mat. 5 more. Straight up. No weight in neck. Those glutes are engaged. Your core is engaged. Straight back to mat. And 3. Straight up. Feel the hips open. Straight back to mat. 2. Straight up. Lengthen. Straight back to mat. 1 more time. Lift straight up. Core is strong. Tailbone is long. Hips to sky. Straight back to mat. And then just stretch legs for a second. Relax those legs. Reach those arms overhead. Inhale, exhale. Breathing in, breathing out. Exhale, breathing in, breathing out. 1 more time. All right. Now we're going to do another hip flexor quad stretch. We will not need your foam roll for this one, so we can set it to the side. Instead, I'm going to ask you to turn and face me. So now you're on your side. Let me just move this out of my way. Alrighty, I moved it. Okay. You're on your side. And now, to get the maximal stretch, when you're on your side, think of shoulders down and back. Hips are squared. Those 2 hip bones face straight forward. Now, before you do anything, make sure your legs aren't in front of your body. Shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, they're in a single file line. Now, I want you to feel like you can stretch your tailbone away from you. Stretch your tailbone long. bend your top knee. Instead of bending the top knee forward, point the top knee, they're side by side over bottom knee, point the entire femur bone away from you as you lengthen your tailbone long, and you would either take a strap or you would grab your pant leg and you would pull your foot or your ankle behind you, but you would press your two hip bones forward as your tailbone lengthens and really maximize the stretch across the front of your hip and thigh. Tailbone is long. Roll and push your hips forward and really get the front of that hip and quad to stretch. So by knowing what area to tweak, you can really increase the depth of your stretch while you stabilize your low back, your lumbar spine. Tailbone's long, hip bones press forward. Feel the front of your hip and thigh stretch. Inhale. Exhale. You'll even feel front of shoulder, collarbone wide across here. And inhale, exhale. I'm so tight in my quads, I'm like burning right now. It's releasing stuff. I did a 50-minute run in the sand barefoot today, so I'm really feeling it. Woof. Inhale, exhale. Tailbone stretches long to protect your low back. Helps decompress that low back. Inhale, exhale. One more deep inhale. Feel the front of that thigh. Exhale, release. Good job. All right, press all the way up. Swing your legs to the other side. Coming down to this other side, stretch out. And again, you don't want your heels in front. Slide them back so you have a straight angle. You can bend that bottom arm underneath head and neck. So basically, your shoulders are down and back. And then your hips are squared. You're in a single file line. Your tailbone stretches long. Decompress that low back area. Okay, reach back. Again, we don't lift the knee forward. Think of the knee pointing away from you. Now you press your two hip bones forward as you lengthen your tailbone away. Grab your foot, grab your ankle. If it feels like that's too much, if you have jeans or sweatpants, I should say, it's hard to stretch in jeans. That would be hard. You could do it if they're baggy. Press your hip bones forward. Your tailbone stretches long, and just stay here and breathe. You're going to feel the front of that hip and thigh elongate and stretch. Protect your spine, tailbone long. You could try pointing your toes as you press your hip bones forward. Feel that little tweak really open right in here. It opens it apart. Pointing the toes, hip bones forward, tailbone stretching away. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. When you get really hot, it's like you feel this heat release. You know you're releasing something. It feels really great after. It just takes it gets the blood flowing back into the area. Breathe in, tailbone long, press hips forward, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Feel front of shoulder and chest stretch. 2 more times, you're gonna inhale, exhale. 1 more time, you're gonna inhale and exhale and gently release. All right, now roll onto your back. You're on your back. Align shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. And now just straighten out your legs. Notice how your low back feels against the mat. Notice how the front of your hips feel against the mat. It should feel like more of your body is contacting the surface area of the mat because you released, you elongated, you created space and length in your body. So notice how you feel right now. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Really feel energy through the front of those hips. Breathing in and breathing out. 2 more deep inhales here. Breathing in and breathing out. 1 more time. Breathing in and breathing out. We're going to end this quad psoas hip flexor stretch with a little yoga asana called banana asana, and I'm ending it this way. The reason why is because the psoas is one of the deepest muscles in your body. It goes through the pelvic floor. Sometimes people get sciatica because if it ever gets so tight, sometimes it can affect different areas. And when the psoas inserts on the other side, it inserts into the vertebra in your back. So I'm going to stretch each side of your spinal column right now, doing a little banana asana. So if it's uncomfortable on your spine to cross your ankle over, then you're not going to do it that way. You would take both feet. Okay, I'm lying flat. I'm going to walk both feet a little bit to the left side of my mat. You could stay there just a tiny bit. Or if you want to make it a little more pronounced, crisscross your right ankle over the left. Keep your hip bones straight above you. Shoulders relaxed, chest open. This left hand grabs your right wrist. You're going to stretch overhead, and you're going to lengthen and stretch everything over to the left. So we're going to get this whole side of your spine to stretch. We want to get into the right side of the spine. If you find your shoulders hiking up in the air towards the ears, soften both of your elbows overhead so your shoulders drop again. And just stay here and breathe. We're not twisting the spine, we're side bending. Feel sides of waist stretch apart. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel some space between your ribs. Breathe in. And breathe out. Feel that spaciousness. As you stretch to the left side of your body, you're going to be opening the right side of your spine. Breathing in and breathing out. Feel your ribs expand. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale, softly release. Gently return your body to the center of the mat. Uncross the right ankle from the left. Make sure you're in a single file line, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. Again, if it's too much to cross your ankle, take both feet a little bit over to the right side, tiny bit, not a lot. Or crisscross the left ankle over the right. Your hips are still facing the sky. Low back is lengthened into the mat. As the left ankle crosses to the right, your right hand, it's going to go grab your left wrist, lengthen overhead, and stretch your entire body, your torso towards the right. Feel space along left side of spine. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Breathing in. Breathing out. Either your arms are straight and you're gently tugging on that left wrist, opening left side of ribs apart. Those intercostals are stretching apart. Hip bones to sky. We're not rotating the spine, we're side bending. If you need to modify, bend your elbows, relax those shoulders down, back, away from your ears. Breathe in, breathe out. Let your body melt into the mat. Space between left rib cage and left hip bone in front. That anterior superior iliac spine, that left front hip bone, is pulling away from the left bottom of your rib cage. Lengthen the soft tissue in between the area there. Pull apart. Keep chest open. Breathe. Inhale, exhale. Two more inhales here. Exhale, softly, gently release. One more time. And inhale. Exhale. Slowly make your way back to the center of your mat. If your legs are to the right, you'll just pull them straight under you. If your left ankle's over right, straighten out your ankles. Shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, everything's aligned. Just take a moment, see how your body feels. Should feel like each side of your low back right now, this is pretty cool, you're gonna feel it. The right and the left sides of your low back are gonna feel like they're closer against the mat right now, and you're gonna feel an open feeling across the front of the pelvis. You're gonna feel the hips open, and you're gonna notice when I go like this, you can see how my entire body is just like sunk down into the mat. So we made some space in your joints. Take arms overhead, fingers stretch away from toes, and inhale, exhale. And then we're slowly just gonna turn to our side. And it should feel pretty good in those hips. All right. And I thank you for joining me. So right here, when I sit, I can pretty much see how my knees dropped. When I start, a lot of times when I'm tight in my hip flexors, I'll sit down, and especially this one will be higher, but you'll know that you release tension when your legs can just kind of melt. All right, so hope this helped, and I'll be back soon for a workout. So that was just like a nice way to stretch your psoas, your hip flexor. It's the same thing in your quadricep. We have 4 quadriceps muscles. When we get super tight and there's lactic acid and toxins stuck in there, they glob together like one big muscle. So I'll show you how you can roll out your quad using a foam roller to try to separate the quads into their 4 muscle groups. So get them to separate so that they're getting the blood flow, meaning getting the oxygenation that they need and releasing all the bad stuff. Not bad stuff, just metabolize. We metabolize stuff when we work out hard, and then we gotta flush it out of our system too. So if you've ever noticed, like if I run hard and I'm super sore and I know I'm gonna be hurting so bad, and because it's just that delayed response, I'll actually sometimes, you have to be very careful that you don't eat your tissue or anything, but there's a way that you can like do a really light, slow 20-minute jog just to flush everything out where you're not pushing. It's just super easy. Sometimes when you do that, it helps your recovery when you do something really forceful and hard on your body. But there's a fine line. You have to know your body so well. You have to know when you're not going over the threshold. So that's for you athletes out there. Okay, peace. See you soon. Bye.